yesterday they finally took the vote, although they didn't take a vote. See, what happens is when they know something's going to fail, they table it. And the Packers' proposal and it really doesn't ban the tush push, it just changes the tush push. The Packers' proposal to eliminate the immediate shoving of the player who receives the ball at the snap, that's been tabled until May. Kalen Kaler of ESPN.com reported yesterday 16 teams, 16, right down the middle, half the league, was in favor of the Packers' proposal. So they're going to take it, they're going to reconfigure it, potentially, and they're going to talk about it again when they get together in less than 2 months for the May meetings in Minnesota. So, look, it takes a lot to get to 24, but there's enough there. When half the league is willing to support a flawed proposal, and we know it's a flawed proposal, It tells you, Chris, there's something there.
Definitely. I mean, it seems like I was shocked. And then, I saw your article and everything you wrote, the 16 owners, all of that. I didn't expect that kind of groundswell to push back against this altogether. And yet the fact that it got tabled, and I think both of you and I expected that to happen from everything we heard leading up to Tuesday morning. But yeah, I mean, we've seen in these type of instances, we got 16. Now a month goes by, people talk about it a little bit more. People politic, try to get, in their corner. The Packers will talk to some teams. I'm sure some of these other teams will talk to some people to where it feels like it has a real chance to pass. It does. Now, what we want to know and what we talked about yesterday is what is going to pass. Okay, pushing the players is done. We got that. No pushing, pulling. All right, so that's out the door. I know they banned that, but as we hit yesterday, the tush push, there's just more to it than that aspect right there. And that's not the danger area. So, one, I'm shocked that it got this close, okay? Two, I guess what was my point there? Because I'm watching the play here and I totally forgot. But one, I'm shocked it got this close. Two, I want to see if they're going to change some of that language in the next month to make it even a more finite rule with clearer language. Now, what I want to show, and if we could go back and show this one more time, this clip's here, because I asked the group to show some tush push plays. That's why I got to, the push really did it there. Rewind that, guys. Let's watch that again.
There wasn't even a push on that.
There was no push. Zero push. And number 95 in the middle, Brown, D-tackle for the Rams, he didn't give a damn about the push. He's more worried about the 800 guys crashing on his neck. So that's what I don't get. So we have this aspect here. We know this. The Washington game jumped off sides a bunch of times. It did all that, certainly. But even here, I mean, what is the tush doing?
It's a quarterback sneak.
The push is doing nothing.
Sneak.
Exactly. The push hasn't happened. Frankie Louvu's hitting the guys that are pushing Jalen Hurts. So that's where we got to get to the root problem here. But either way, it's very interesting. And here's another one. Okay, so here's a little push. They got it. You're right. Is it that violent that I think that changes that play? Totally no, and that's where I continue to fight with this whole thing, and I'll be interested to see where it goes.
It's a modified quarterback sneak, and if you take away the back end, the front end is still there. We talked about that yesterday. And when I saw that they are going to consider what we've been talking about, rewinding the rule book to 2005, when both pushing and pulling were prohibited. It used to be both. You couldn't push, you couldn't pull. We only saw the pushing. We typically saw the pushing. It wasn't strategically built into a play because it would have been flagged. We would see the offensive lineman rumble down and clean up the play and shove his teammate past the line to gain or into the end zone or just to get an extra yard or two when he was being held up by one or more defensive players. That wasn't being flagged, so they stopped prohibiting it.
Right.
Hey, we're not going to call this, let's get it out of the rule book. And it didn't dawn on anyone, and I'm not saying it should. But when you remove a general and broad prohibition against something, you open the doors for it to be incorporated into anything and everything. You know, hey, the rule doesn't say no pushing of a player, beyond the tackle box or beyond the line of scrimmage. So if we remove pushing, we allow pushing in all settings, in all circumstances, in all scenarios. And it took 16 years for the Eagles to realize they could put this into the back end of their quarterback sneak. This is a quarterback sneak with that push at the end. And the Packers' proposal was flawed because it prohibits the push immediately upon the taking of the snap. What does immediate mean? It opens an entire new universe of potential inconsistency and incompetence by officials, which will cause criticism and cries that the fix is in. If the Eagles score a touchdown late in the fourth quarter of a playoff game and up comes the flag, the officials have decided in their discretion that it was an immediate push, and they play it back over and over again. Is it immediate? Is it not immediate? You don't want that. You don't need that. If you're going to address the problem, address the problem. Don't just dance around it. And I don't want to give people too much credit. I don't want to give them enough credit. Did the Packers just put something innocuous out there that wasn't complete, that wasn't a full frontal attack on the rule?
Just to get it going.
In the hopes that they were lighting the fuse?
Right.
If that was the case, it worked.
Yeah.
They lit the fuse.
I think so.
They could have proposed anything they wanted, though.
Right.
But they did something that wasn't really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It limited when you could push, but it didn't take away the push. Now the conversation over the next 2 months is going to be behind the curtain. Can they get 8 of the 16 who still support the play to say, you know what, enough. Let's just get rid of it altogether. Let's just eliminate pushing like it used to be eliminated before we allowed pushing because we weren't throwing flags when the big lineman was pushing his teammate 15 yards past the line of scrimmage.
I want them to eliminate that. I do. Eliminate the pushing. Good. I'm all for that. I'm all for stopping the lineman coming down the field and pushing the pile or cleaning up the pile. And doing that's more dangerous to me and now those type of pushes than anything.
You're exactly right. I had somebody reach out to me and make that point yesterday.
So nothing.
That is far more dangerous.
You ask any defensive
lineman,
guy, right?
Head of steam,
right?
Full speed, chug, and blow up a guy from behind.
Exactly.
That could cause more problems than what we're seeing.
You see guys do that all the time, or guys that are standing around the pile, and now the lineman comes in and crashes everybody, and the pile moves in such a degree that the guys who were standing there just watching, now it hits them in the knee and they sprain an ankle or hurt their ACL or whatever else. That's by far more dangerous than anything here. But I think you're on to something in the fact that I think Green Bay might have been smart enough to know that this was just going to light the fuse and start the conversation. I do, because what were you going to say before that? Like you said, no quarterback sneak anymore. So they just started it here, and now it's going to broaden out. Now, I like the fact that no pushing and pulling. I get that, but where are we going to go from the rest of this conversation? That's what I don't know. And yesterday, I don't know if the 16 owners that seem to be in favor, is it more in favor of the push itself, and it is the push? Or is there going to be more diving into this of like, no, we're going to actually take away the technique of how they do the quarterback sneak? And that's where I'm extremely intrigued. I have no idea. And those are the things I hope to find out over the next month as you talk to friends and people you know in the league to kind of get a feel for where their head is at in this thing.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.